this presentation. So without any further ado, let's start with the discussion now. So over to you, Runav.
Yeah, thanks, Anugrah. So I'll be sharing my screen. Hello, everyone. Thanks to Great Learning for giving me an opportunity to present my experience and to discuss about how to get jobs in data science during this tough situations that we are facing. Even I have come a long way. So I'll be talking about my journey. How did I ended up at a data science role with Nielsen? So beginning with it, I'll just share my journey. So it was in 2016 I completed my computer engineering. And after completing my computer engineering, I thought that why should I end up only a technical part of the, I was not that into technical jobs. So I decided to pursue marketing. I love advertising and branding and all. So also the one important part is that along with technical stuff, it is also important to know the business aspect, how products are going live. If you technically make up a product, also it is important to understand the business part of it. So I ended up at V. Nirmat South Gujarat University, where I did my MBA in marketing for a full time. And it was during the final year of my MBA where I was introduced to this, big world of analytics or data science as we know. But after completing it, I was lacking many skills. Like I didn't have any exposure to, hands-on practice data science or analytics. So I had a desire, but then I had to take up a job. So I started my career with Info Edge India Limited. So there I was working into corporate sales for Naukri.com. So that job included a totally field sales role where I used to meet corporate clients, interact with them, and give my presentation on recruitment solutions. So that went on for a short period of time. So I finally decided, let's move on from sales and get back to what I actually wanted to do. I also did a good statistical analysis during my final year. So I was very much interested to, take it forward. So then I came across this very good course from Great Learning. It was a full-time program in data science. So that made up my mind. And after that, I immediately quit my job and started pursuing my career. It was a risk. Yes, I had to quit my job and, restart my career. But then you need to do that. So it's fine. So in 2019, I joined Great Learning's PGP Data Science and Engineering in Mumbai. And from where I met a lot of people, interacted with a lot of new friends, and that's how it began. So after that, after some time, I completed my course. I also, kind of failed a lot. Then I have come a long way, and finally I ended up at Nielsen. So the role is executive data scientist. So it is a long journey, but yeah, it's worth it. So let's begin. Now, getting to the point for the day, what is data science and why should one pursue a career in data science? Or if you are already pursuing this course, then how to get roles in data science? What are the techniques you can use to get a job as soon as possible? It is tough, yes, but then at the same time, if you take some good steps, you can end up at a good place and a good role. So let's begin. Now, starting with the basics of data science for all of those who are here, who are new to data science and analytics, let me begin by sharing what is data science and what is all this hype about. So in this world, we already had analytics for a long time. I think statistical analysis was a part of any organization in this world. Uh, but at that time, we didn't have much computing power, or even the storage space was less, and also technology was not up to the mark that we can commercialize it completely. So later in 2012, after 2012, all this big data boom began. And with big data, we need some more advanced algorithms and even more advanced technologies to cope up. So then this term came up, data science. So what is data science? Now, if a company has huge amount of data, uh, that can be proved as a very big asset for any company. And getting insights out of data and studying that data to make business decisions, that is the most important application of data science. So we have to make use of data science and make decisions, forecast everything, and ultimately the company will grow, the sales will grow, and we have time time will be less, and even the cost will be saved. So as I said, data science will be the pillar of the organizations in terms of decision making. Also, for coming years, if we use the right tools and we get the right insights, then better planning for the coming years can be made through this data science. So to sum it up, data science is basically analyzing a huge amount of data and getting insights out of data. Also, at the same time, after you get the insights, if you need to predict the future, then we use something called machine learning. So we make machines learn, and on the basis of past patterns, we can make out what will happen in the future. So that is the basic idea about machine learning. And we have various roles in data science. So the most advanced role that we have in the industry is called a data scientist. Now, who is a data scientist? What skills does a scientist need? So for that, it is a multidisciplinary field, and so we need multiple things out here. So first is we need to be very good with statistics, because any analytics or data science as a whole is all based on statistics. So you need to be very good with numbers and very good with statistics. Second, to analyze data, we need some tools. So in terms of tools, we have a programming language called Python, which is the most advanced one. We were also using R. Also, some companies are using presently, but right now Python is the most advanced language that we have. Apart from that, we have visualization tools called Tableau, Power BI, ClickView, which are used to generate graphs to get the insights out of data. So basically, a data scientist needs to be good with SQL also, because SQL is a database management language, and we need to extract data from the servers. So we need to prepare data, make a pipeline out of data, and then we have to analyze data. So it requires multiple skills. Also, the most important part is the domain of the industry you are working, because data science is just not technical stuff. It is a lot more, and domain is the most important part of any person who is analyzing data. Because if you don't have a complete knowledge on the domain, it would be very difficult to make relations, get understand data and present to your seniors and all. So uh, you need to be very clear with domain, because ultimately the results that you get, you have to share with your seniors, and they might not get some of the technicals. So it is important for you to share in terms of the domain that you are working. So coming to that point, we will discuss what is the importance of domain, and also I have put up some use cases in data science and machine learning. So data science is used in every industry nowadays, and for data driven practices, you always require domain knowledge and experts. So for people who are having expertise and who have worked in a particular industry for a long period of time, even they can learn these skills and apply those skills in their particular industry, be it finance, be it marketing, be it healthcare. I've also seen some people who had pharmacy and medicine as their background, and they are now working well with some of the leading industries, healthcare industry and medical. A lot of research is also going on this field. So for that, one needs to be good with the domain knowledge. So as I have mentioned here, we require specialized skills, and for that we need special people as well. So now talking about some of the use cases, first I'll take up healthcare. Now, as I have mentioned here, it is patient diagnosis. So to detect a particular disease, we also use machine learning and feed data of a particular patient, and we just insert the data about his history, what medical conditions he has been through, and on that basis the machine is able to decide what the patient might suffer in future. Is he well maintained, or is he fit or not? These kind of questions can be answered in the healthcare industry if we talk about. So even in medicine, in pharmacy, in development of drugs, we can use machine learning and data science. We can use a lot amount of data, and just check out what is working and predict the thing. Coming to finance, the most important uses are risk management and fraud detection. So, what is risk management? If an institute, financial institute, or an NBFC or a bank gives loans to their customers, it is very important for them to take measures. If a particular customer, how credit worthy is his? Is he able to pay the loans? So for that matter, we all need a risk management system in finance industry. And to automate this risk management, to automate who will be the defaulter or anything, we can use data science in that. And similarly, in fraud detection, we can also check which all transactions that a particular person is making. Is there something suspicious about the transaction? Is he making unusual transactions? So these kind of insights we can get out of data, and also we can predict who can be a potential defaulter. Similarly, in manufacturing, we have anomaly detection. Suppose if you have an industry and your boiler or any technical stuff, if you want to check that how long it will work, so you need to feed data out of that, and based on that, you can see that how long this will work and when it can break down ultimately. So you can take measures and act accordingly. In insurance, we also have client risk scoring. So as similar to finance, means loan and all. In insurance also, we need to take check on the clients, so that all automation can be done with data science. Similarly, in transportation, we can do demand forecasting. So we get an idea about how many vehicles do we need, or we can always make a plan out of it. So data science is everywhere, and there are many applications, and people are coming up with new innovative ideas to use data science as much as possible. And also we are in a growing stage, so ultimately 5 or 10 years down the line, we can expect a lot more in machine learning and ultimately to the AI part of it. Yeah, many such use cases like customer. If you talk about marketing, then we have customer segmentation. You can get off what brands people are using, what they eat, what they buy, what they watch. Everything can be studied by collecting data, and on that basis we can also make some recommendations. One good example I can give is about Netflix. As you all might have seen, we always get recommendations from Netflix, what is trending, or what you might like on basis of a particular show that you have watched. What new show would be good for you. So all that suggestions is based on the activity that we do. So there is a recommendation system with all the activities that you do is recorded, and based on those patterns, the system gives you suggestions. That is a very good purpose for marketing, promotions, and all. So this is the marketing part. Similarly, in energy demand forecasting, many other use cases we see. Uh, so you can all think about many cases in your industries as well. So coming from that, now data science is not just about one role. We need a whole team in data science. And based on your profile or based on your expertise, if I say, then we have many roles in data science. So I just discussed what are the main roles that are running in the industry right now. Starting with business analyst. So a business analyst uses analytics to get insights, and also the business analyst is very close to the business people. He will get the functional requirements, he will interact with clients, and on that basis he might give you a analytical solution. So that is the most important role of a business analyst. So a business analyst also does a similar work of a data analyst. That is the next role we are going to discuss. So a data analyst is someone who can find meaningful information out of the data. In the industry, if you see, then the tools used by a data analyst are Python for data analysis, SQL for extracting a lot of data. So similar is also used by business analyst, but the only difference is that business analyst is very close to the client. He might have frequent interactions with the client, and a data analyst might or might not have as many interactions. But the basic work is same to get insights out of data. And first, we had all the work done in Microsoft Excel. But now, since our data is more and we have more advanced languages like Python, so people are moving from Excel to R, and ultimately from R, we are moving to Python. Now, the next role is data engineer. Now, if you are someone who has already worked in the software engineering industry, especially in the database management system, if you are very good with SQL, very good with these technologies, big data, cloud computing, all those the data wrangling part, as we say in terms of data science, that is all about extracting data, storage of data, managing data, and ultimately making a pipeline of data. So before any analysis happens, the data engineer needs to prepare the data, and he will forward that particular set of data to data analyst or data scientist. So if you are very good with database management language like SQL or Hive or Spark, you can take up data engineer as a role as well, because you need to have some knowledge on data science and you need to work with data. The next role is data scientist. Now, the most important role, as we see in the industry, and you might have seen everywhere, I'm a data scientist. So, a data scientist is something more than a data analyst or a business analyst. He also has knowledge on machine learning. That is the most important core part of data science. So, we have different algorithms in data science. So, a data scientist also analyzes data just like a data analyst, and ultimately he will also develop his models, and he will use different algorithms to predict future, to make predictions. So based on past patterns, he will use data, and ultimately he will be able to communicate. So data scientist in the industry, if you see, then after 2 to 3 years you will get a proper data scientist role. But some companies are also training students or the fresh graduates as a junior data scientist, or just like the profile I'm having, that is the executive data scientist. So you can start some work in core machine learning, if I say. But initially, you need to be very good with analyzing data and cleaning the data, because data in market is very unstructured and it's not that we see in the pictures or anywhere. So to become a successful data scientist, you need to first work rigorously with data, and you need to be very proficient in analytics. Now, one another role that we have is machine learning engineer. So this role is a combination of data science plus software engineering. If you have worked in industries where you have experience in building software or development APIs, then this role is very good for you. Machine learning engineer, he optimizes and deploys that particular model that we have. Because after making a model, it is also important that you commercialize that model, and in order to commercialize that system, you need to be very good with software engineering. You need to be very good with development, and you need also some knowledge on machine learning and data science. So this role is a combination of both the fields. So if you have some experience in development, you can surely take up machine learning engineer as your role. Uh, Next role is analytics consultant. Now, analytics consultant, if we see, then he is very proficient. Uh, just like a business analyst, he is very proficient in communication or developing new innovative analytical solutions. He has worked over a period of time. Mostly, it is 3 to 5 years. After that, you can become an analytics consultant. MBAs, people who are from management, who have worked in industry in a particular domain, and who have also worked with data, they can surely become analytics consultants. So you need to pitch your solutions to your clients and ultimately also convince them and make sure that they are fulfilling their needs. So this was on a brief of some roles in data science that we have. And next we'll take up interviews. So what kind of interviews you might face as a business analyst, data scientist, machine learning engineer? So some part of the interview is of course same, because you need the knowledge about algorithms and all. But there is some difference in the interviews that we have in the industry. So, starting with data analyst or business analyst, these kind of interviews are for the entry level roles. If you have experience of 0 to 3 years, then this is the role you will be applying to. And on that basis, you have interviews based on Python. Now, for Python, you might have a coding challenge. Companies use third party apps like HackerRank or HackerEarth, where you have to code online the assignments that they give, and based on that you will be shortlisted. This is the first round of the interview mostly everywhere. And also for freshers we have aptitude tests to just test how you are able to think logically and stuff like that. So yes, of course, and also knowledge of basic knowledge, not much advanced, but basic knowledge of SQL, so that you can extract some data. So you have SQL interviews as well. Apart from that, after you complete your rounds, you will be tested on some logic based questions, puzzles, and just to check your approach, they might ask you something called guesstimates. Now, for people who don't know what are guesstimates, so these are some higher level questions, like the number of WhatsApp messages that are sent on a Monday morning in Mumbai. So you need to work out this whole thing and reach a particular number. So yes, again, the number is not important, but what approach that you are taking. So what segmentation you have made, what kind of users you have defined. So all this business approach that you think is what is expected from guesstimates. And mostly in business analyst role, you get business case study. Even during my interview, I had one business case study. So there the person asked me, uh, if you want to launch a premium coffee brand in India, then what is the segmentation, target, and positioning? These are some concepts of marketing. So what techniques do you use? So he just wanted to check what approach I use. So business case studies, yes, it is a very important aspect in an interview if you are applying for a business analyst role. Rest is same. You might be asked on your projects that you have done, or if you have worked for some time in an industry, you might be asked on your past projects or your projects in your companies. So these are some. Generally, you get 2 to 3 rounds technical interviews, and then you get the HR round. But 2 rounds are mostly there in any interview with a manager or a senior person. For data scientist role, some part may be same like Python and SQL, but along with it, you might be grilled a lot in machine learning. Why did you used a particular machine learning algorithm, or why that approach you took, or why did you reach that result? So core machine learning concepts you will be tested upon, and of course. So here you might get a business case study or you might not, depending upon the industry you are applying and depending on the company policy. But the core understanding they want is of the machine learning part, the algorithms and things like that. So yeah, same 2 to 3 rounds you will get technical rounds in data scientist role as well. Next, for data engineers, you might not be asked much on machine learning. If you have done a coursework in machine learning, they might ask you. But the interview is mostly on these technologies, database technologies like SQL, big data technologies like Hive, Hadoop, NoSQL, Scala. These kind of tools you will be tested upon. Or if you have done some projects in past, they can ask you on that basis. So these are the interviews for data engineer. Last is analytics consultant. So same thing as data scientist, but you will be also tested on domain. They might ask you on which domain have you worked on, or mostly people who have worked in a particular domain, they will be going ahead with the same domain. Only a few might change the domain. So if you have worked in a banking or a financial sector, then you might be asked some domain related questions just to check if you are clear with your domain knowledge, because ultimately you will be interacting with clients. And yes, communication skills and your presentation skills, that will be looked upon in the analytics consultant role. Now, since the topic of interview is come, then I would like to share one thing. I appeared for a leading bank an interview, and there I was expected to answer machine learning algorithm concepts and connect it with the real life cases, like use cases. So I had to, connect each and everything which I say on a business perspective. I somehow at that time I just fumbled a bit and I was not able to answer completely. But this was the feedback given by the interviewer, and so it is, I think, very important to connect business and the technical thing as well. So that thing you can keep in mind. Rest for the interviews, if we see, then now some companies are using third party video interviews on the initial screening. So companies like Highview, they have video interviews. So you get some questions on the video screen and you have to record for a 30 to 60-second session, and you have to answer those questions. So these type of screening interviews are also happening. uh, yeah. So this is the basic idea that I have given. Moving on to the main part of our today's discussion, uh, that is why why you should choose data science, and if you are already looking out for something, if you are a fresher, if you want to move ahead in data science, and what things can you do. So as we can see that this situation is really tough. We had a lot of layoffs in companies. Even some people have lost their jobs, and they got or if they have not lost their jobs, they've also got pay cuts. So in job search, it is yes, of course it's tough. Even I had some problems. I appeared for some rounds, and then it was delayed. And even so, you might not hear from the companies as expected. So these kind of problems might happen. Also, some opportunities are now on hold due to this situation, but we always have something to do, right? So this time, if you get, then uh, I would like to discuss what you can do. So starting with first thing is LinkedIn. If you have already built a LinkedIn, prepared LinkedIn profile, it's great. If you have not, then build a very good LinkedIn profile. I think it is the most important step, if I say. So first step is grow your connections. Network. Talk to people. You need to really increase your connections. So two things will happen. First is that you will be updated with the recent things that are happening in the industries. People will share their posts, their ideas, their views. So if there is any opportunity you might come across, so in every way, growing connections is always the best option if you are looking out for a new job. Uh, Coming to that, interact with industry experts and like-minded people. You can always learn great if you are talking to someone who thinks like you, someone who has already worked in 1 or 2 years in the industry, or you can always seek basic advices like for interviews or anything. You can also interact with experts out there. Uh, Trust me, there are really very good people out there who can personally help you out. And even if you showcase your work to them, you might land up a job in their company. You never know. So on that basis, for that you need to build a very good, strong portfolio. So when you are pursuing a course, or if you have completed your course, building a portfolio is very important. Uh, do as many projects as you can. Take up new projects, new domains, or if you are from particular domain, you can do more projects in that particular domain. But build your portfolio, and build a very good GitHub profile. GitHub is a place where you can showcase your work and share it with the experts. Share your work with experts and ask for feedback. Feedback is very important. You might miss some minute details or minute mistakes that you have been making for a while, and that you can only get from people who have worked with the industry, or if someone is a faculty or anyone. So that is for your work. Now, talking about the industries and sectors that are impacted. So, of course, in this critical situation, it would not be possible for you to, seek jobs in all the industries, because the businesses are really impacted. So, look out for industries sector which are less impacted, like the FMCG industry, which was running and which is remaining. So companies that are working with the FMCG industry, the retail industry, the some e-commerce companies, you can always try out for those industries. So yeah, selecting an industry is very important for you in your job search. Now, there might be a possibility that you might not get a full-time role as of now. You might get, but you might not. So take up internships. Companies are giving work from home internships to students, and also to people who are willing to change their careers, because internship is a very good stepping stone in your full-time role. Mostly the companies who give you internships, they give you internships for 4 months or 6 months, and they will mostly convert you on a full-time basis if you perform well. And I think this has worked well with my friends as well. They have taken internships in very good companies, and they are now getting very good salaries on that basis. Also, short-term projects. Yes, you can do freelancing work. So now people are coming with this term called gig culture. Now, what is this gig culture? Gig culture is just like freelancing. You can take up projects for companies, for startups, or even you can take individual projects. If you are failing to get a full-time role, you can always try out by taking short-term projects. Even I have done a short-term project with one of my friends. He has a startup in the industry, and he has given me some work. So you can always start it that way. And most importantly, you can always put up that in your resume as well. So when you interview a company, you can surely showcase that I am doing something, and I have done this work, I have done this project. So take up short-term projects. Next thing is join virtual meetups and conferences. Now, physical meetups also happen around the year, like in cities like Hyderabad, Bangalore, Mumbai. A lot of meetups happen. You can interact with people out there. But in this, since it's a lockdown right now, we also have some virtual meetups, and that you can always find on LinkedIn. You can search out for meetups. You will get many out there. Yeah. So this is a very good way to interact with people and make connections. So interacting is very important. If you network well, trust me, you will end up at a very good place. There are high chances, because since this is a new industry, many people might know each other. So you can always get recommendations or referrals. So it works. And also join some groups on LinkedIn. You have some job groups on LinkedIn, and you can always reach out to people on LinkedIn. Now, talking about networking, one mistake even I have made, and even many people make, is that they directly reach out to a new connection and they ask for referrals. So I think that is not a good idea. You need to prove yourself. You need to showcase your skills. You need to interact with them and make sure that you are worthy enough to get placed. So don't reach out to them directly. Yes, you can reach out to recruiters, but not the domain people or people from the industry. You can interact with them, share your work, make sure that you are making a very good impact on them. And I think this might end you up in a good role. So these are some of the points you can take care in this situation. Also, there are some external profiles like Upwork, which is very good for, as I said, freelance and gig. So you can build a profile on Upwork, and if you are confident enough, you can get many projects on that also. So even some of my friends are working full time as a gigs or freelancers. So it is not necessary that you only work with companies now. People have moved to freelancing work, and it's working well. So yeah, these are some of the steps. Now, I would also like to talk about some key challenges that we face and that I faced, or you might face in your career. That is, as I said earlier, connecting technical knowledge to solve actual business problems. For those of you are already into the course, or you are doing some projects, you might be just getting good results in terms of accuracy in a machine learning model, but that is not the thing that we actually want. You need to solve actual business problems. You need to communicate to officials or someone in your team who is not from technical side. So you need to give presentations and you need to interact with them. So put it up in as simple language as you can. So yeah, as I said in the interview of banking, I was not able to connect with some banking terms. So I think that due to which I was not selected. So domain knowledge and technical knowledge both are important. Now, second thing is that every role or company has different expectations. So before applying to any job, or if you have an interview schedule in a particular job, then just go through what profiles they are having. Try searching on LinkedIn which kind of roles these companies are having, what roles people are placed into right now. And based on that, you can always focus on that particular skills in the industry. Now, some companies might only want you to work on Excel and SQL. If you are a business analyst, then you need to put more focus on SQL. You need to be very strong, and you need to be very good with basic and advanced Excel. Then you might not be asked machine learning, so you can keep it aside. Also, design your, I'm sorry, design your resume in a particular way, because for each and every role that you apply, you need to have a customized resume. If you are applying for a business analyst role, you need to put more focus on your domain knowledge, or if you have worked on particular project which is domain that you are applying to. So that is very important. Next is communication. As I said, as per business needs, you need to communicate well with your managers or with your clients. That is the key challenge. You need to communicate well. Now, we all have done this, and we apply jobs on different platforms, and we always get disappointed that why my CV is not shortlisted. But see, the companies get many applications every day, and it is really difficult for them to filter out those CVs. So your CV might not be seen by the recruiter in case. So in that case, if you have networked very well, you can ask for referrals. And if you are asked for referrals, you will be ultimately given the priority. So that is the main importance of networking with people. The recruiter or the senior level person might be knowing from you, from your LinkedIn or from your work, then you will be given more priority. So just don't rely on job portals. You can always ask for referrals if you're worthy. Then next thing is that knowing the hiring process and the interview pattern. So connect with people who are already working with the same profile and same company. uh, I think they will surely help you out. What are the steps in the company that they are hiring, which type of questions are asked, and what to focus, what not to, what to say, what not to. So these kind of answers you will surely get through networking, as I said. So know the hiring process, read about the company, read about their process, what work they are doing. And also one thing, be prepared with some set of questions. In between of the interview, you can always ask very interesting questions which they might like about their company, like what projects, or I have read one article and you have launched this new technology or new solution. Can you brief me something about that? So in this way, you can engage yourself and you can prove that you are very much interested in the company and the role. So this thing is really working, and you can surely try out. So yeah, next thing is domain knowledge questions. Yeah, so this is really a key challenge as I faced in my interviews. You need to be very clear with the domain. If you are a fresher, read something about that particular domain. You might not be expected to answer in detail, but I think you should have a basic knowledge on that domain. If you are applying to healthcare industry, then you must be knowing something in that field. or if you're applying in finance or banking, then you need to study the loan process or anything, any finance related terms that you come across. So read articles, you read use cases. There are many websites available which are giving great articles on how machine learning or data science is applied in that particular industry. Read more articles. It will surely help you. You will learn something or the other. Next thing is explaining your work and project with clarity. Now, this is actually a very big challenge because sometimes it happens that you have done a project long before and you have put up that project in your resume. But if you fail to explain that project, it would be a very difficult time, and the interviewer might think that you have not done that project, you have just put up. So you need to explain each and everything about the project. Every counter question that you get in that project, you need to answer that. So be very clear with your project. So just study about it. If you have not, just revise it again and again. Don't forget. Remember each and every step that you have done to solve your business problem or your project. So these are some key challenges, and I think the journey I have discussed so far. Now, talking about my journey, in all, I had 4 rounds in the interview process. And as I said, first round was based mostly on projects and a guesstimate. Second round was based on a business case study, as I discussed, and also on machine learning concepts. So I think you might have now an idea what challenges and what should be done during this tough time. So moving on, I think now we can take some questions and answers.
Thank you so much, Runav. That was a very informative session. So
Thank you,
we'll
Anu.
pick up the questions now. And
Sure.
starting with, I'll take some of the questions which has been commonly asked by a lot of the attendees right now. Okay,
Sure.
so there are some people who are from third year or the final year of engineering, and they want to get into data science. So the question is like, how do they plan to go ahead with this?
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're already from computer science or IT, and if you're good in coding, then you can surely pick up Python, which is a very good programming language. You can start learning first. You can learn Python, and you can move ahead with it. And you can also, if you don't have full time joining a particular course, then we also have I think different courses available online as well, where you will be guided on basics of data science. And by the time you complete your the final year, I think in 1 year or a 6 months period of time, you will be surely well equipped with the skills. So take up online courses or take up weekend courses, anything which suits you. Uh, Try getting good on hands-on, as I said, in Python or R and SQL if you are from computer science. If you're not from computer science or IT, Python is a good language. It is mostly made up in English, so I think it won't be a much problem for you to learn Python. So yeah, you can start it that way. Anuga, your mic is not. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you can hear me.
Yes. Yes.
All right, yeah. So the next question is also like generic question which has been asked by people from different domains, and the question is, what kind of project should we do? I think the question is more related to the industry specific. So, like,
Yes.
what kind of project should they take up?
So if you're a fresher, then I would suggest that first pick up the domain that you are interested in. Find out if you like finance. You can take up, there are very good data sets available online as well in finance. If you like your particular domain, like manufacturing, So these kind of data sets are always available. So just start with the topic that you are interested in, because as it is your first or second project, you might be facing a lot of issues. So I would request, or I would suggest you to start with the domain that you're interested in. Then you can take or try out different domains. But if you are from the industry, I suggest you to start in your own industry or sector. That would be helpful in your resume. Yes.
Thanks, Runav. So the next question is from Sayan Ganguly. He says, do Great Learning provide placement opportunities?
Shayan, yes, Great Learning has a very good placement team. And if you join, then after completing your course, you will surely get opportunity. But just make sure you perform consistently. You will surely end up at a very good place. Yeah.
Yeah. The next one is, can mechanical engineer do data science program? That is from Sunil Kolekar.
Yeah. So Sunil, yeah, mechanical. Many people are from mechanical, or even I would say many of my friends are from mechanical. The one advantage that we have as a whole is that some companies really prefer engineering background. So be it mechanical, civil, computer science, anything. So if you are from mechanical, you can surely take up data science. You just need to be somewhat equipped with Python, as I said earlier. So just put a lot of hands on in your coding skills. I think that is the only part you have to work on. Rest is new for everyone. Machine learning is new for everyone. So each and everyone is learning. But as far as the coding part is concerned, try learning or try practicing Python and SQL skills from the very first. You can surely transition to data science.
All right. So the next question is from Akshay Dushyant. He says, I read in one of the data science magazine that automation in data science may lead to job loss in post-COVID period. So if it is true, then how can we stay long in this field?
Okay. So yeah, you are right, but not exactly that will happen, because see, the demand of data science is increasing day by day. And if a company has a team of 10 right now, then the team would be 50 in 5 years down the line. So even if things automize, you always need someone to operate that. Or if you talk about auto ML and things like that, then you need people to run that as well. So since it is growing, I think it won't be a issue right now. Uh, Due to this COVID thing, there is some impact on hiring maybe, but in the long run, if you see, even if the automation comes, we need people in this industry. So not to worry about. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So the next question is from Ashutosh Singh. He says that is SQL used in data analytics along with Python?
Yes, Ashutosh, data analytics is so SQL is a very first step in data analytics. So if you are a data analyst or a business analyst, even data scientist as well, uh, data scientist might get help from data engineers. But in case of data analyst or business analyst, you need to prepare your own data. You need to remove data from the servers. You need to make a pipeline of data. So for that, you will surely need SQL. And for basic analytics like market basket analysis or getting male and female and basic the data analysis that we do, that is done in SQL. So yeah, it is very important. Excel, SQL, and yeah, Python is used also. But some companies use SAS. If you know, in finance they use SAS more. So for SAS, you need SQL skills, very good SQL skills. So yeah, you need.
Thanks, Runa. So the next question is more of a generic question, which has been come from some multiple people who have been joining us. So the question is how COVID will impact placement packages of data science freshers during this
Okay.
time.
So yeah, we need to accept this hard truth. There is some impact on the packages that you get, but I think compared to a normal IT job, you might get more salary in data science. That's what I feel. And in other fields, if you see in technical fields like core mechanical jobs, you might be knowing that the salary range is very, very low. So compared to that, in data science, you will get good package. But honestly, I would say for this short period of time, don't think about package. Even if you are getting somewhere around 4 to 5 lakhs, I think it should be good as of now, because after you complete 1 year or 1 or 2 years, you will surely get 60 to 70% hike on an average. So don't worry about it. The situation is tough, we know, but please take up whatever you get. But yes, you will always get something more than the regular jobs. Yeah.
Thanks, Runav. So the next question, I think we have already covered it in the presentation, but definitely we can speak on that. It is from
Sure.
Lalit Mahajan. How to find a job during the lockdown? I think there will be a lot of people who will be still having the same question.
Yeah, yeah. So, Lalit, as it is said, there you might be getting somewhat disappointments in terms of full-time roles, but try for internships. If you have not worked previously, uh, I think take internships, and many companies they have started rolling out opportunities like for first 4 to 6 months you will be an intern. You will be paid, of course. Some companies are paying really well, and for after 4 to 6 months they will convert you on a full time basis. And as I discussed earlier, this is a time to build your contacts, uh, connect with people, showcase your work, most importantly. So the thing here is that you need to stand out of the crowd yet. So to stand out of the crowd, you really need to prove yourself. So interact, network, and trust me, it will work. And in terms of job, yeah, some jobs are opening, full-time jobs are also opening right now. Uh, Recently, I have been seeing that, since the lockdown is about to end or about to get released, things are working. So, yeah, I hope I might have answered your question. Yeah.
Thanks, Runav. So the next question, again, it has come up from multiple people. They wanted to know in a quick gist that what is big data analytics, or what does a big data analyst do?
Yeah. So if you talk about the big data part, that see, if you have a small set of data, then you can surely do it in Microsoft Excel. But if you have a huge amount of data in different file formats, then you need to use some advanced tools, and you need to take up some languages like Python or R. So to deal with these huge amount of data, we used these tools, and we analyze those data, and based on those analysis you get insights of what's happening in your business, and what, suppose if I give about sales, then which product is selling more, which product is selling less, which area is impacted, which area is not buying that particular thing. These kind of insights you will get out of the data, and since the data is huge, we will not be able to do it manually, so we need some tools, right? So using analytics, we can get insights out of big data as well. And for big data, also there are some tools that like Hadoop and all. So you can learn those tools to process this kind of data and later move to analytics. So that is the whole concept of big data analytics. Yeah.
Thanks, Runav. So the next question is from Sanjay. And Sanjay asks, any certificate is required to become a data scientist and getting a job in an MNC? So he specified that he is looking for UK.
Okay.
And because currently I am only attending an online class for data science.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are two things. If you are applying out of everywhere, like as you mentioned, you are applying to UK, then it would be good that if you take up a course which is associated with a well-known university. There are courses available online which have made associations with this universities outside. So yeah, it would really help because on international basis, if you see, then yes, some brand value makes sense. So it would be good if you take up such courses. But if you want to learn online, then certification might help, might not. But if you want to apply elsewhere internationally, I would really suggest to take up a course which has international university certification. Yeah.
Thanks, Runav. So the next question is being asked by multiple people, and it is very specific to their domain. Okay,
Okay.
and what they're asking is, what is the scope of a statistics student, a BCom student, a medical doctor? So everyone is specifically asking related to their domain. Like, what is the scope of doing data analytics in there?
Yeah. So if you have someone from the statistics background, you have done even bachelor's or master's in statistics, you hold really a very good priority in the industry. I have really seen people or even freshers, they are very easily absorbed by the industries because the basic idea of analytics or data science as a whole, it is the statistics part, because you need to be very good with numbers, you need to understand data, and to understand data you need statistics. So if you are someone who have done masters in statistics or even bachelors, you can surely take up data science and you will be easily getting a good role out there. The only concern might be of, as I said earlier, the programming language part. But yeah, if you see, then I think you can take up, and even if you are not expert in that, since you are from statistics, you will be easily getting jobs. From BCom candidates, yeah, you can concentrate on financial analytics, or as a finance as an industry, I would suggest banking and NBFCs or financial institutions. But there are some concepts in data science like linear algebra and uh, statistics you might have studied, but some mathematics is also used. So for roles like data analyst, I think you can surely try data analyst or business analyst, where a lot of mathematics is not required. Statistics is required, which you have, I think, studied in your commerce as well, and you can move with these kind of roles. So yeah. And for medical professions, yeah, you I think you are from a science background, you I think you might not be studying much mathematics. So just you need to be some you need to be very good with the domain part that you already are. So concentrate on programming language, and mathematics slowly you can learn. So if you see companies like GE or even ZS who are working full time in healthcare analytics, so they, and even companies like IT industries also, they hire domain subject matter experts, as we say. So these kind of roles are really important. And since you are from that domain, it would be great, and you can surely apply. Yeah.
Thanks, Runav. And so the next question is from the person who has mentioned AKS as the name. So the question is, if someone wants to leave a job and pursue data science, is this the right time to do this?
Uh, right now, if you have an experience of more than 2 to 3 years, then I would really suggest you to take up a course which is in the form of online mode, or it is a weekend kind of a course. Uh, Weekend course, yeah, means after 2 to 3 months, you will be joining offline courses. But since the time is tough and you are already working, I would suggest you to start learning on yourself and not quit your job if you have experience more than 2 to 3 years. But if you are a fresher and you are really frustrated out of your job, then you can take up full-time courses that I would suggest. But if you are an experienced person, then I would not suggest you to quit your job. You can always learn online and offline classes, weekend classes, and things like that. Yeah.
Thanks, Runav. So the next question is from Sonakshi Chakrabarti. She says, "I have a market research experience. Having I have 2 years of experience in market research. I gradually want to move into data science and
Yes.
analytics career and build the skills in it. Please tell me how to start."
Yeah, so in market research, if you have used some Excel skills, or even I think you might have used SPSS kind of tools for statistical analysis, because market research is more on statistics. So the only thing which you need to develop is the machine learning part in the data science, because that might be new for you. So concentrate more on machine learning and programming. These two skills you need to learn. Two skills you already have, that is the statistics part and the some tools, if you know. But language and machine learning, these two are the focus areas, and mainly machine learning concepts you need to learn to transit into data science. You can easily do that. Yeah.
Thanks, Runav. So the next question is from Vinay. He says, "If we want to switch to a data engineer role, where we can get real-time projects and exposure for the same?"
So for a data engineer role, I think as I would not be knowing much, but for data engineering projects, I think you will get some data if you have a startup. A startup might work with you or might share some data. But I think the core data engine hands-on experience, hands-on practice won't be much possible. So yeah, I think it is a bit difficult if you are thinking about projects in data engineering. You can work well if you are in the industry already. So yeah.
Thanks, Runav. So the next question is from Hind. Hind says, "Can you please recommend some free project resources?"
Project resources.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so if you want to do a particular projects, then we have a website called Kaggle. It is a very good source where people post competitions and you get very good data sets out there. All international competitions in data science are happening on Kaggle. So you get a lot of free data sets available. You can also refer to projects done by other people. They have kernels, and the whole portfolio is also displayed. You can check out their work, you can see what they have done, and similarly you can try your own work, take up a data set of your interest, and you will be able to do your project from there. Yeah.
Thanks, Runav. So there is a second part of the question from Hind that says, "Is there an option for free courses for data science?" So Hind, I'll just quickly take that one. So Great Learning has a platform called as Great Learning Academy, where you can directly log in, and there will be a lot of data science related content that will be free course material, which will be available for you. So definitely, everyone can go ahead and access that, and everyone can start learning from that.
Yes.
Yeah. So just 1 second, I'll just check the chat. I think there is some new question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Ritesh says, "Which thing I need to study in data science by for going very depth into it? Like I think it is in terms of from a beginner perspective to in depth. How should I go into that?"
Yes. So the core thing about is the always the machine learning part. Get to know each and every detail about a particular algorithm. Take a simple algorithm, study it in the perspective of mathematics, because if you are really interested to go deep dive in machine learning, you can always start learning the intuition of the algorithm, and slowly you can go to the mathematics part of the machine learning algorithm, I think, which is very interesting. And if you really know the mathematics part, then it would be great to solve business problems. So start understanding algorithms, start understanding tools like Python and all, how to handle data, how to analyze data, and concentrate on algorithms slowly. Uh, Start from a simple algorithm. You can study up to advanced algorithms, deep learning, and uh, these stuff. Where you require good mathematics. So if you in application part, I think mathematics is not much required, but if you are really interested to go deep dive in machine learning, then mathematics is what you can study about the algorithms. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much, Runav, for that. So I see that we have reached the end of the questions, and still there are some more questions coming, which are repetition that we have already answered. So to all
Okay.
those, we'll request you please go through this recording once again, because there was a lot of information related to how to find a job and the different platforms which are available. So all those information has been discussed. So once this recording will be available to you on YouTube itself, so you can definitely go through it. And yeah, please do keep posting, and like you can definitely refer to a lot of the content in the Great Learning platform, that is Great Learning Academy. Also, if you go to the Great Learning's YouTube page, you will be finding a lot of relevant content related to the Great Learning will be available. So I think that would be all. Runav, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much everyone for joining us today for this discussion. Have a great day ahead.
Yeah. Thanks, Anugrah.
Yeah.
Thank you all, and all the best to everyone.